You are live. Hey!
I'm live, but I'm not live in Facebook.
Really? Oh, Facebook. You're a hater.
We're going to have to start over. Oh.
Haters. Five notifications. Right.
Hey! Now I think we're live.
We are live.
I can't tell. I have no idea. But it says we are.
It says we are. It looks like somebody's watching.
Okay. First of all, I'm sorry we're really, really stinking late. But there's a good reason.
We had very, very many technical difficulties.
Really bad technical issues. Really, really bad.
Don't even know if they're actually fixed.
Nope, we have no idea. So if any of you, if the audio sounds absolutely horrid, I apologize right up front. And also, if we are out of a 10K, oh hey, we have somebody listening from Facebook. Thank you, Jeff. You've just saved our day.
That is awesome.
Crazy. Normally we don't have this bad of an experience getting going. Normally we get everything.
And I'm normally here early, and I was here early, and we still did not get them right.
Right. I don't know. It was bad. You guys, I really hope we sound at least halfway decent. So all right. So tonight, let's just dive right in. First of all, actually, I think we need a prayer tonight because, oh man, we should have been praying earlier. Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray, Lord, that you please send your Holy Spirit to be with this conversation. Lord, we love you so much, and we thank you, Father. And I pray, Lord, you'll please protect us from the wiles and deceptions of Satan. And I pray that this conversation will go very well considering the current climate we are in, Lord. So I pray that you'll please be in our speech and in our ears, Lord. Let us all leave with something more than what we came with. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. So Jeff's like, sounds perfect.
Awesome.
Right. Okay, so Tom kind of came up with this. And by the way, everyone, it's just Sully and I. So we're gonna do this as best we can. We're just the two of us. Hey, that's a song.
Can make it if we try.
Oh yeah, okay. That's called singing Tourette's for those of you who don't know. Okay, so Tom came up with this, and I think it's really good. So he wants to cover what he's calling bias judgment. And now this does take a little bit of... Uh-oh. I think he's talking about your singing Tourette's.
Okay.
Oh, not Exodus. Okay, so tonight, which by the way, guys, I want to give a little bit of a plug. We are launching another episode of Biblical Chili on our podcast, or actually started out podcast. So go ahead and check that out tonight. You can check us out on Patreon. You can also check us out on, what's that t-shirt thing?
Now?
Yeah, what's that t-shirt thing called?
Oh, Teesprings.
Teesprings. So go ahead and check out there. I know a specific young lady who listens to us, Ashley E, was listening, and she would like one of our first hats. So, and what did she say? What did Tom say?
Ask me about my chili.
Ask me about my chili. So, but anyway, it helps support our ministry and also other ministries that we would like to engage with and that kind of stuff. So, check us out there, and also YouTube and any other various social media. I almost said facial media outlets, but social media outlets. Okay, so this one takes a little bit of preamble here, just a little bit. Tonight we're going to be launching an episode about Abraham, and we find Abraham in Egypt. Yeah, I'm looking for the verse though. Okay, so I think it's Genesis.
Wasn't it 6?
Oh man, yeah, we go. No, not that far. Promise. Oh, no, 12.
Okay.
12. Okay, so 12:10. So let me just read just a tiny bit of this so we can get a little bit of this context. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down. And by the way, guys, we go this in great detail. We're not here to talk about this right now because we recorded it in the podcast that's launching tonight. But we want to kind of talk about one of the main points that happened during this. So there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass when he was close to entering Egypt that he said to Sarai, his wife, hey, indeed, I know that you are a very beautiful woman and have a wonderful countenance. Therefore, it will happen when the Egyptians see you that they will say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you. So it was that when Abraham came into Egypt, that the Egyptians saw his wife, that she was beautiful, and the princes of Pharaoh talked to him and commended her. Let me go ahead and fast forward here. Okay, so verse 17. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abraham's wife. And then Pharaoh called Abraham out and said, what have you done to me? And then obviously Pharaoh was like, you need to get out of my land. Here's some money. Here's some goats. Here's some sheep. Get out of here. Okay. So here is the question, I guess. Has there ever been an instance either in your own life or an instance that that has happened to somebody where they have assumed something, some kind of bias, or not even bias, but stereotype maybe? Like he stereotyped it, because in this story, Abraham knew, and I'm going to put in quotations, knew who the Egyptians were and what they were like. Do you see what I mean? So he assumed that they were going to be this way. Now, yes, they ended up taking his wife, but Pharaoh was upset because he said, if I would have known she was your wife, I wouldn't have taken her.
Right.
So, right. So has there ever been an instance in your own life or in a personal time where I'll just say it didn't pan out well for you or for somebody you may know? Like I had this friend one time.
This one guy I know.
Yeah, this one guy I know. Doc, this isn't me. But let's just say hypothetically, if
right. See, my friend, he has this thing going on with him. It's not very, no.
All right. Sheep, we're gonna cut that one right now.
Not even going down that one.
Right. So, okay. So was there ever an instance when this could have happened?
Actually, there was. A lot of people actually look at me, and I actually ask them, because they go, have you ever had a gun pulled on you? I was like, yes, I have. But,
right.
So people go, what do you mean? And my background, I have public safety. I'm actually kind of a Boy Scout. I normally follow the rules. I may speak my mind, but I normally follow the rules. Like, I try to look out for other people's feelings if I like them or not, but I'm normally a straight-laced person. So a lot of people look at me funny when I tell them the fact that I was almost shot by a cop. They're like, what? One, they go, the whole idea of the fact that I'm white, which I'm not even going there.
So, okay, so hold on. So you're talking about like if somebody is making that assumption about yourself.
Yeah.
About you. Okay.
Yeah. They made an assumption actually about stickers that were on my truck. Because one of the stickers said gun control is best with both hands, and then you can have my guns one bullet at a time. So this officer seen the stickers on the back of my truck. He heard something over the radio, a description matching my truck. I actually just separated my right shoulder.
Ooh.
So my hand was actually laying on my lap. The cop actually asked me to raise my hand. I looked at him and I go, officer, I cannot do this. It hurts too bad. I'm going to my little sister's house because I know the fact that I'm going to be on medication. I'm not allowed to actually drive while on medication. Again, Boy Scout. I try to do what I can. So he continued to ask me. Next thing I know, he unsnaps his weapon, pulls it out, and points it at me. And I had to grab my left hand with my right hand and lift it up and go, "Officer C, it hurts. Can I go now?" And then I dropped my hand. He let me go, and I went about my way. Now, do I actually feel bad? No, because that officer was trying to protect his life. But I know now. Don't have anything on the back of your vehicle with any kind of weaponry. I don't care what it says on there. I am not doing that anymore. I would rather be unnoticeable.
So, okay, so that brings up another question that, and I'm not trying to like stir the pot here, but just maybe a little bit. When it comes to being someone like an officer or someone like, we'll say a principal or a teacher, or someone in a role of authority,
okay,
don't they naturally have to maybe not have a bias, but maybe have a
okay?
I almost want to say profiling, but that's probably the wrong term.
No, I would go very similar to that, because the fact that you have to judge, the way I looked at it and the way I was trained is you have to go on the scene and judge the situation. Because my job entailed me being safe. So if I were to go to a scene where it's unsafe, I'd be like, nope, you go take care of this dude. You put out that wet stuff with the white stuff. I mean, the wet stuff on the red stuff, and then I can go in and do something. Okay, you guys do this, chop chop, good job. So you got to judge the scene as it is shown. So if that means, okay, well, this person's wearing long baggy clothes, maybe looking at this person, or a different person looking at them, going, saying, "Hey, you don't look like you've been showering very well. You are trying to cover up some bruises. You're trying to do this. You're kind of skittish," principles or even other stuff. Like, those are signs, and you have to look out for them.
Yeah, but even with that situation, though, it sounds like it's an educated judgment call, not just okay. So in Abraham obviously knew that Egyptians were pagan, so he naturally assumed that they are going to do this to me and my wife if you are my wife, because I know you're beautiful, So he did that natural, like, I am this way, I am that, or they are this way, they are this way, that way. I know I've had that type of thing happen with me, but on the other way around, I used to drive truck.
Right.
So I've gotten to go all over this pretty country, 50 states. Thinking of them like the continental. I got to go to Canada, but not that far. So anyway, the continental U.S. I've hit up, and
so wouldn't that only be 49?
48.
Because Hawaii and Alaska.
But
then sure. I was counting Canada.
I was counting
Canada as a completely different continent. But whatever.
You can't. Okay. No, you can't take. No, come on. It's not like a total different country up there. There are cold neighbors,
Let's get a Timmy House, Timmy House,
No, my favorite is a boot.
A boot. We're gonna go a boot that direction.
A boot, yeah. And the funny thing is like my boss is Canadian. One of my bosses, I should say, is Canadian, and she pulled the OUT sound, the out sound, the ow sound is when they say ooh, and so she does really good job at like cleaning that up. But anyway, I used to drive truck, and so I went all over, and I found myself stereotyping people like that type of thing. You know what I mean? And it always, and I guess take this the right way, but let me tell you one story. Okay, one story. There was, and those of you who don't know, when you drive truck and you go from truck stop to truck stop, there's a lot of, what is it like? vagabonds. What are they called?
A bagger.
Beggar.
Panhandlers.
Panhandler. There you go. Okay.
We'll go with that term.
Yeah, we'll go with that term. So, panhandler. And so, this one guy, he came up to me, and I tried, I tried to get in the habit because I realized I was doing this a lot, where I would judge people based on this. But I'm like, dude, I've never been to these states. I've never met these type of people. I'm a backwater, small town Michigan kid, and all of a sudden I'm driving truck all over the U.S. And there was something that happened. Like one guy, he came up to me and he begged for money, that type of thing. And by the way, this doesn't happen anymore. So what I'm about to say happened when I drove truck. I have a family now. I used to be able to keep about $120 on me at all times. I have kids now.
Oh.
They have my $120 that I used to keep on me at all times. But I had to keep that kind of money because when you drove truck, like you guys may think a toll booth is, oh, that's so expensive. I got to spend like $6. Yeah, well, we got to spend like $7 or $8 an axle. And we can have a lot of axles on those things. Yeah. Like to cross the Mackinac Bridge is like $50-$60 depending on how many axles you have.
2, 3.
Yeah.
I mean, a normal one has 3 or 4.
No, it has 5. It has 5. 3 on the truck, 2 on the trailer. It has 5. It multiplies pretty darn quick, man. And then when you're hauling like the, what? Oh man, what's 18 axles or whatever it is?
18 wheelers?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. Anyway, so I gave this guy like $20, okay? Because I did not want to, I guess, think the worst of this guy, right? And so he was asking for money. He was asking for money for food. And then I leave. Like he caught me on the way out. And then I went to my truck and I'm like, oh man, I forgot. And then I run back into the truck stop. I was going to go grab something. And then I had to go to the bathroom. And I go to the bathroom. I was in the bathroom with lottery tickets. He obviously just scratched off. Now, here's my point. I'm not trying to like shed light on anything. But what I'm saying is I was trying not to be that way because I did notice that I was that when I first started driving truck. I was like that. Like I would assume with these people that were asking for money and that kind of stuff, I always assumed, well, hey, they're just gonna buy this or buy that or like yeah. I always made these terrible, quite frankly, terrible assumptions. I look back and I was terrible, and so I tried to turn that around. Just like, okay, let me just give this a shot. So maybe I can ask this. Even though I gave it to him, and because I was trying to block the profiling in my mind, block the bias, it didn't turn out well for the situation for me. Should I have still given him that money? Because he was asking for it? It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is. Like, I've seen it go both ways.
Right.
I've honestly been the person, it sounds horrible, but I was the person that begged and did all that other stuff because of my rough childhood. It was just something that happened. Like, that's, when you say you live in the ghetto, I've lived in the ghetto. I've done dumb stuff. And am I proud of it? Not really. But, it's just the way it is. It's just what happened to me.
Well, okay, so
I get both ways. Like,
right.
Doing it for your own personal gain, getting the habit out of it. And because, like I said, I used to smoke. I'm actually quit. I'm up to 10 weeks now.
Man.
Of not smoking.
Congrats.
Right.
That's awesome.
And that's something hard to kick. It's just the way it is. But like that guy had an addiction to gambling. Some of them, like Justin was talking about, some people go do their fix. I mean, it could be alcohol, it could be other drugs,
right,
and anything else. So I mean, you never know what that person's going to do with it. You never know if he's going to go home. Okay, here's another story. In Pontiac, there was an actual individual that would panhandle, and he wasn't needing it. He actually straight up dressed up.
Awesome, Jeff.
Right.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. He straight up would panhandle and not need it. Go get off of his clothes and then get back into his business suit. Go into his luxury SUV and drive off. People caught him. And they caught up with him, but there's no ruling. There's no, if you give money to somebody else, technically it's a gift.
It's a gift, right?
Blah, 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 rules and regulations. So that's his little scapegoat, but it does happen. Like, there's some people that are good. There's some people that are bad. There's some people that need it. But
that's really good point, though, because we don't know, and that's, I think, the key with all of this, man, is we don't know their heart. You know, even though, like, okay, so let me put it this way. Like, I gave him $20, right?
Yeah.
It was not $20 worth of tickets. All right. It was like maybe $5-7 or something like that, you know, but the fact still remains.
Yeah.
But the fact is I did not know that guy's heart. So, like, okay, Abraham later on, and this is a much later episode that we're going to have, but much later on. Oh, wow. I did not know that.
What?
Jeff says some people make $1,000 a day doing that. Panhandle.
Depending on the city and where your location is, yes, you can make that.
Wow, I did not know that.
Like I said, that one guy actually was in a luxury SUV and paid for it and did all this other stuff and had businesses, and he still did it on the side.
I wish I made $1,000 a day. That's just a little bit more than I make now. Easy.
I'm just leaving it alone.
So, right, let's drop that one. I need a sound effect for that one.
Right.
Okay, so Abraham, believe it or not, even though he gets called out by Pharaoh. Right. Now, number one, and here's our point here. Pharaoh did not. I can put this. Even though Pharaoh was apparently pagan, Pharaoh was spiritually wise enough to see that something was up. And it wasn't just, oh, yeah, he had plagues, and that's why he knew it was this Abraham guy. No, he knew something was up. And I truly believe that he had some connection with the Lord in some way or another to realize what was going on. He had to be spiritually sensitive even a little bit. If we go all the way to Genesis chapter 20, Abraham does it a second time.
Right.
With Abimelech. Remember that one?
Yeah.
He go. It's the same exact story. He goes to Abimelech. There's like he wants to go hang out around Abimelech's country, and so Abimelech is the king of this country. The king of what is it?
Oh,
the Philistines or something. Yeah, I think it was the Philistines. Okay, so I think it was the Philistines, but it was the same thing. So he's like, oh, hey, you know, Sarai, why don't you tell this guy that you're my sister also. Okay, so he doesn't think we're married. I don't want him to kill me here. Same thing happens. He takes her. There's not plagues or famines. It's like this one, wasn't it like the womb of every woman in the nation?
Yeah, they went dry.
Yeah, like they could not have kids.
Right.
And that one I don't understand. Like, how do you not, like, did he have her for a concubine or wife for like 9 months or something?
Something like that.
I don't know. We talk about that in the podcast, give it a little bit more detail. But here's the point, though, is Abimelech not only called out Abraham, but Isaac, Abraham's son, did the exact same thing. And Abimelech called him out. So I'm just saying, I guess I want to bring that up because, like, we don't know our heart, or we don't know their hearts. So no matter what, Abraham, quite frankly, shouldn't have lied. And I know this brings up a whole nother can of worms, right. But, and I know this has been asked before, kind of on our podcast, is lying, even as we call little white lies, is it okay? You're right? Now, personally, I believe any lying is wrong. I mean, the Ten Commandments is pretty clear, right? But Like it says not to lie. And I know there's some that I've heard this before. Like, oh, thank you, Jeff.
No.
No. And I would agree with that, Jeff, because hey, Jeff, how about this one? And I'll have you answer this one. We'll give you a second because I know there's like a 30-second delay or something. What about omitting part of the truth? And I'll explain that. Abraham, technically, Sarai was his half-sister, so he did not outright lie, but he omitted part of the truth. What about that? I would agree with that. It's a rough one though, too.
Right.
Because and I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but I think it's right because that's good. That's good. I think that's really good. Own up to all the facts. That's perfect. Oh, we have Moni. Hey, Moni, how you doing? Okay. Right and wrong is written in our hearts. If our conscience isn't whacked, how many times are believers called out by unbelievers for doing something wrong? Ooh, man. And isn't that what happened?
Right.
Though with the story, with all these instances of Abraham once with Egypt, Abraham with Abimelech, and then Isaac with Abimelech, same exact thing. God used, quite frankly, a pagan nation, a pagan ruler to call out his chosen people. The midwives lied to save the babies of the Hebrews. Oh, that is true. That is true. But still, that brings up the same question is, should they have? Because they could have just flat out refused.
That brings up
I don't know. It's really rough. Although I like your example.
I don't know about that because it is saving someone else's life. Now, wouldn't it be actually? What did she say?
This is just the thing about the midwives.
See, because that's a good question. Because if you're actually going to save somebody's life with a lie, I don't know.
Isn't that rough?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a story, and this is a true story. This happened during the time of the Nazi overtake. I want to say it was in France, but I'm not sure. There was a story in this story. My church has this record because my church we collect stories. Like if something miraculous happens to people, and my church has done this for like 100 years or more. Whenever like an awesome story happens, they record it. And so this story is really, really cool. So the short story is this German woman was hiding Jews and other, we'll say, unspeakables at that time in her home. And word got around like that she was holding these 2 or 3 families in her home. And here the short story is just this. The German police came straight to her door, banged on her door. She was the only, she was the quote unquote only woman living there. She went straight to her door. And she opened the door and the police said, "We know you have someone here. Let us in and search." All she said, and this is so amazing. All she said is she opened her door all the way and she said, "You are the authority of the state. You have all legal right to search my home. Go ahead." And she looked them flat in the eye. And they looked at, the 2 guards like looked at each other and like, okay. And they walked away. They didn't search the home. They didn't do anything because she stayed honest about it. And the Lord protected her for it. I know we're getting off topic, but that story hit me so hard because lying is one of those things that is so, can I just say easy? And because it's so easy, it seems almost like it's not a big deal.
See,
I don't know. We live in a society that it's okay. You know what I mean? As long as you're not like the whole little white lie thing. I remember when I was a kid, my parents told me, or my dad said something about a little white lie. It's not a big deal. But I'm like, wait, you've told me not to lie. And so it like threw me for a loop when I was a kid. So,
see, I don't even know about that because the audacity I can understand. Like, a normal German soldier just walking around trying to do stuff and doing that because they became a police state at that point in time. And
yeah, they did.
They were just like normal grunts running around. I get why they just like, okay, this lady's like, go ahead, come on in.
So obviously she's not guilty or something?
Like it's let me in for omission or whatever you want to say it. But
it's true.
So many white lies cause.
So many little white lies create one big one. That's true. Because they catch up to you. They bite you in the rear eventually, man.
Trying to think of one of the. See, but some people. Okay, I'm gonna stop Justin there about how the fact that it's easy to lie.
No, I'm just saying society has kind of like painted
general,
this picture.
People do. I have a hard time because it's just like I normally wear my emotions on my face. If you want to see me mad, just look at my face, and then we'll talk after that. But you can tell the difference between me being happy and me being sad and me being mad because you'll see it.
Okay, Moni just jumped in. It's tough. A lie is a lie. Then we read Rahab helped the Jews, and her family were saved. Okay, so those of you who don't know the story, during the time of when the Jews were just coming into their land and they became a nation, more or less, or were becoming a nation, the first stronghold that God said, I want you to take was the strongest one around. It was Jericho. And to not beat around the bush, two Jewish spies were sent in. They went in there to scope it out, basically, before the Lord took the city for them. And when they went in there, of all people, prostitute hid these two spies because she wanted asylum. She knew that God was on their side because she even says that. She says, our whole nation trembles because they know what God has done for you. They know that God has saved you. They know that God has brought you up to take this land back. They know that all of the people here in Jericho know that this land is yours. It's not ours. She said, if I help you, basically after the guards came to the door and she hid them on her roof under some wheat or something like that, some barley, and they were hiding up there. And she's like, oh, if you catch them, you go down that street, right? She blatantly lied. But I would emphasize this. The interesting thing about that is at this point, though, Rahab had not been introduced to the 10 Commandments. So maybe lying to her, maybe it was, I guess you could say, a sin of ignorance. Okay. All right. Just a thought, guys. Just a thought.
What was the other one she said? Was it the other thing?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. A lie is a lie. And then we talk about Rahab. Because Rahab did save those spies.
I still see.
Right. And I guess all I'm saying is if you didn't know that lying was a sin, like if you didn't know it was wrong,
okay,
and you were raised that it's okay to bend the truth if it benefits you, or you know what I mean? Like if you're raised to believe that your whole life.
Okay, you're talking about my childhood. Continue on.
Not quite on our. But yeah, if you were raised that it's okay, then there's going to be this period in your life, because like even Moni said, like the truth of what's right and what's wrong is in our hearts, because Christ says that he wrote that, the truth is in our hearts. We know right from wrong naturally. This natural intuitive where we don't like to be lied to, so obviously we shouldn't be lying to others. This give and take type of thing. But what if you were conditioned? Maybe I should say, maybe not raised, maybe conditioned to believe that something was right or wrong. Because I mean, think about this. Like, what about like those headhunters out there, like in the deeps of South America and Africa and stuff? Like they actually kill people, and are cannibalistic, some of them.
I was thinking about Vietnam, because Vietnam we had major psyops. This war we have major psyops and everything else. Like it's something we do as a society, unfortunately, and it's not only for like okay, what we've done in this style of warfare psyops is just absolutely ridiculous in the country. I've read several stories where it was actually $3 million during Vietnam. During Vietnam, I don't know if you guys know this, but a regular bottle of Coke was 75 cents. What they do with $3 million during that time? We only get half truths with that.
Right.
Like some people actually look at history and go, "Oh, America is with people that look like this." No, technically not. No, it's not.
Right, and that comes full circle to the whole bias thing,
right?
Like,
yeah,
because I don't know, it's just interesting because think about the lies that we believe or we even tell ourselves.
Okay, what was the one? The history one. 1776. The guy that said the British were coming. Technically, he was actually the shortest distance.
Paul Revere. Paul Revere. Yeah, but you're not. That's 1776.
Was actually only about yay long. The other guy that actually formed all the rest of the militias, his travel was twice the distance, and he was on horseback, just riding, going, "The British are coming. The British are coming." Yeah, Paul Revere was like this big about history. The other guy, I can't even remember his name now, was like twice the distance. Okay.
Moni comes out and says, in Abraham's case, lying ran in the family, and an unbeliever outed him. Right, and that's what we're talking about. That's perfect. And the Bible warns about this age. Woe to those who say yes is no and no is yes. That is that's prophetic. Yeah, that's prophetic. It's about what Jesus said. The end of days would be just like this. Good, yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah, she just took the words out of my mouth. Evil is good and good is evil. Like we make sin look cute.
Yeah, but wouldn't that also be the same term as doing the right thing isn't always doing the right thing?
Well, and that's the thing. The point is that good is now subjective.
Oh, okay.
Like what's good for you may not be good for me. Well, hold on. Killing people just is not productive. Flat out. But
I'm not going there. Not this topic.
We're going to end on that one.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We're sorry we had kind of a rocky start. Like I said, it was just Sully and I here, and we got this hooked up, and it was. Oh, that's okay, Jeff. We're taking off, man. But thanks for hanging out with us for a little while. This was, like I said, this was kind of a rocky start, but yeah, we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate the feedback as well. This has been a great conversation.
Right.
This has been perfect. So.
Right.
Well, this has been Justin.
This has been Sully.
And we thank you guys for hanging out with us. And also, don't forget to check out our podcast. It'll be launching in a couple of hours or so. So you can go to Podbean or what are the other ones? YouTube. You can probably listen to it on and a whole bunch of other things.
You can listen to us on
iPad thing. That
iTunes.
One. iTunes. Yeah, thank you.
And then also the S1.
Spotify.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. And Amazon Music.
Yep. And Amazon Music. You can talk to your Alexa. Ask her to play Biblical Chili. So we thank you guys for hanging out with us. And by the way, thanks for Moni for coming in and Jeff as well. Moni herself has a podcast, so go ahead and check her out as well. And we love you guys. Have a good night.
See you guys.